Voila! Last week, we started the story of Yrel, in which we talked about her origin story, building up a friendship with Marad, and banding together with the Alliance to take on the Iron Horde. Her sister Samaara sacrificed. Velen sacrificed himself to restore the Nare to its holy state, while in Gorgrond, a powerful artifact is used against the Iron Horde. The enemy, they managed to get a fleet of ships out of Gorgrond, and they're getting ready to assault Talador and the former capital of the Draenei, Xe'ra city. This area is the crossroads for the whole continent, so we can't let them have it. Under the guidance of Khadgar, Alliance and Horde must work together on this. Durthan and Draka, as well as Yrel and Marad, they're ready to siege the city and kick the Iron Horde out. With a stolen Iron Star, we roll through the Iron Horde's forces straight to the docks. Their fleet is on the attack, and one of the battleships has a powerful weapon aboard. We need to disable that weapon, so our forces, they keep the enemy busy, as Khadgar charges up a mighty spell to freeze them in place. Draka is sent off to look for survivors, while the rest of them assault Warlord Blackhand, giving us the time to track down their super weapon, and of course disable it. Blackhand won't go down without a fight though, so we quickly rush over to lend them a hand.
Didn't anyone ever tell you not to play with fire?
It's over. No one could have survived that.
This vessel is set to blow. We should get to safety.
Bring the cannon around. We'll send both of these ships to the bottom of the sea.
Marad. How?
In the light, we are one. I see now. You never belonged with us to return. Our bond is iron. But you are so easily broken. What do you want, little girl?
Your head.
Cannon is in position. On your command.
Prepare to fire.
Such arrogance to believe that you alone could defeat me.
Together.
They're alive!
I've got them.
You will all die!
Just you.
We did some massive damage to the Iron Hordes. Not only did we take out some mighty weaponry and prevent them from taking over the area, we nearly took out Warlord Blackhand. Unfortunately, he would survive this explosion and show up later within the Blackrock Foundry, but the same could sadly not be said for Orgrim Doomhammer and Marad. Marad sacrificed his life to keep Yrel safe, leaving her with the words,
In the light, we are one.
This would be the last time that we see him, but that's a little bit later on. Time to grieve will come later, as our battle against the Iron Horde continues. First, there was the Spies of Arak, where we party with the Arakoa, but Yrel doesn't really play a part in that area. And then Nagrand, home to the Warsong clan, and the new war chief Garrosh. With Gromash leading the Iron Hordes, he left our Garrosh to lead the clan. The orc that escaped his justice and Azeroth, he must be made to pay. So our combined forces assault Gromashar to once again kick him out of the mantle of war chief. Notice how Yrel has taken up Marad's title of Vindicator, as well as his weapon.
We must never rest.
Come, Draenei Witch! I'm waiting.
Dekan, I need you and our forces to stay here. Buy us the time we need to deal with Garrosh.
Whatever happens, Marad would be proud of you.
Blow open these gates! You're a fool to come here! You think after everything, you can kill me!
We'll bring you to justice, monster!
Justice? You don't know the meaning of the word! I cannot be defeated! Now, you die. Garrosh! Thrall! You're too late, old friend. No more, Garrosh. Just you and me. I challenge you to Mak'gora!
Thrall! No!
Very well, Shaman. We finish this alone, where it all began, at the Stones of Prophecy.
Despite giving it all we got, this kill would not belong to us. Instead, it's our Thrall that steps up to the plate to rectify the mistakes of the past. It was he, despite voices telling him not to, that made Garrosh Warchief of the Horde, and it would be he that would take care of him now. The one responsible of forming the Iron Horde. He lies dead in the ground, but it doesn't remove their threat entirely. They still have allies in the Ogres of Heimal. Blackhand and his forces, they're still churning out weapons at the Blackrock Foundry. And of course Gromash is still leading the Iron Horde. Step by step, we worked on dismantling them, but this offered an opportunity for Gul'dan, as he once again showed up and he offered the orcs that delicious demon blood. This time, some amongst the orcs did accept his gift, with Gromash placed in chains. One leader exchanged for another, one that's even far more dangerous, with the might of the Legion backing him up.
The might of a Legion.
Hellfire Citadel's waiting for us, but before we enter the raid, we must talk about Yrel and her trial of becoming an Exarch. The Council of Exarchs and Draenor, they're the leaders of the Draenei, and they answer only to Prophet Velen. But during our questing in Shadowmoon Valley, we find out that one of the Exarchs, namely Otar, he switched sides and he teamed up with the Legion. He had another Exarch killed, Exarch Hataru, and he tried to kill Exarch Maladar by giving him up to the Iron Horde. But we rescued Maladar in the Tanan jungle, and we expose Otar for the betrayer that he is. In that confrontation, Otar transformed and he took on his new name, Sokravar, but we were unable to stop him in that moment, and he actually showed up as a boss within Hellfire Citadel. All in all though, the Council of Exarchs could definitely use some new recruits, and we're going to help Yrel with getting that position.
We must hold on. To become an Exarch, I must first pass through a series of trials. I am allowed one champion to accompany me along this journey. I would like that person to be you, hero. I am ready. Come, the Exarch Council awaits.
3 trials are given to Yrel in order for her to prove herself worthy of becoming an Exarch. The first trial that sends her over to Nagrand to help clear the corruption in the Cerulean Lagoon, which is caused by a creature called Plague Bloom. Together, we take out the creature, only to fight against the primal fury Everburn in the cold of Frostfire Ridge.
Well done, champion! Akama's task is finished. I cannot wait to see his face when we report on our success.
The second trial that takes us on a holy pilgrimage to the Draenei's sacred burial grounds called Akandun.
Ah, welcome, Vindicator Yrel. I see you have come for Maladar's trial. The spirits sense your purpose. They already grow eager to challenge you.
It is my honor to face the heroes of the ancient past. They will not find me lacking.
Good luck, Lady Yrel.
Inside, Yrel is tested by the guardians of Akandun and even the spirit of Hataru, the Exarch that was murdered by Otar.
Yrel, this is how I always wished to see you. Do not let me down.
Greetings, teacher. Let me show you what I have learned in my travels.
You have exceeded all my hopes, Yrel. You may proceed.
Yrel's trial is not the only reason why we're here. Marad, who so heroically gave up his life for his people and Yrel, his ashes will be placed to rest amongst his people.
Now, to lay Marad's ashes to rest.
Yrel, how you have grown since last we met. But is it enough? Are you worthy of leading our people? Now it is my turn to test your strength. When you face a more powerful foe, will you stand strong?
Do not fear, for I will stand.
When all hope is lost, will you still fight?
I shall never yield!
When you look inside yourself and see only darkness, can you still find the light?
I can!
What was that?
Because in this world, we are never alone! Hero, use the hammer now!
Yrel, it is true. The student has surpassed the teacher. You are ready. If only Prophet Velen could see you now, he would be proud. Rise, Yrel. It is your charge to unite the Draenei. Prepare them for what's to come. Farewell.
Marad, my friend, be at peace.
Even Marad has given Yrel his blessing, but her trials are not over yet.
Never has
One final trial awaits, Yrel. Us. You have chosen your champion. Now, let us begin!
3 against 2, and still Yrel's devotion to the light, combined with our experience and power, it manages to overtake the council and complete her trials.
Remember, today you have completed the trials of the Exarch. You have proven courage, kindness, faith, and strength, pillars upon which our society has arisen. However, we measure a leader not only by her merit, but also by the character of her companions. Champion, we have watched you throughout this trial. We saw your bravery in Frostfire, your persistence in Nagrand, and your loyalty in Akendun. Your dedication to Lady Yrel proves to us that she is worthy. We did not choose the next Exarch. You did. Yrel, do not forget that an exceptional leader inspires greatness in others. Trust in your people and trust in yourself. Now, rise! Exarch Yrel!
It is time to take a stand.
Together, we've proven her worthy of taking up a spot within the Council of Exarchs. Quite a change from her days inside the temple, and she, as well as the Draenei, our gathered forces, the Horde as well, all of us made ready to confront Grommash Hellscream and his Iron Horde. But Gul'dan, he had quite other plans in mind. He made use of us dismantling the Iron Horde, the demonic blood was taken by some of the orcs, and Grommash was placed in chains. This left us with Hellfire Citadel waiting to besiege, as we had to take care of the threat presented by Gul'dan, the Legion, and his fell Iron Horde. Inside, we ran into bosses that were built up throughout the expansion. For example, we had Sokrafar and Terangor. We even liberated Grommash, who quickly joined us in the final confrontation, where we saw Gul'dan play his final hand and summon the mighty Archimond into Draenor. Durotan, Khadgar, Grommash and Yrel, together with the Alliance and the Horde, they did not back down. They rallied their forces and gave it all they got. Together they stood, their bond was iron, as they brought down our commands.
It's done. Gul'dan failed. Xe'ra is free!
You don't think it's over?
Gul'dan and the devils that command him are not so easily banished. I fear this is only beginning.
If you ever need us, we will be here.
Until we meet again.
A great man once told me, in the light, we are one. The future is ours, and we will see Draenor rebuilt. Together.
Archimonde was able to send over Gul'dan to our reality, which then in turn would kick off the Expansion Legion, but the day had been saved for alternate Draenor. Sadly, Warlords of Draenor had quite a habit of dropping certain storylines. In this case, we see Gromar's Hellscream, the one who kicked off the invasion into Azeroth and is responsible for the death of Yrel's sister. He just turns around, he screams that Draenor is free, and that's the end of it. No real consequence for his actions, no real dialogue to talk things out. But like I said, Warlords, it didn't finish all the stories that it built up. Now this part, we're going to dive into spoiler territory for Battle for Azeroth, so if you don't want any spoilers, then this is the story of Yrel so far. A priest spending her days in her temple comforting her people, but the events of the outside world, they could not be ignored, and through great pain, loss and sacrifice, she rose up and defended her people. She proved herself time and time again, became an exarch, and stood shoulder to shoulder with the orcs to extinguish the fel of the Legion encroaching upon their worlds.
Together.
So what my Battle for Azeroth holds? Well, as some of you pointed out, I unfortunately did the story of the Magad orcs just a few days too early, as some delicious data mining information has come to the surface. For those unaware, Magad orcs, or uncorrupted orcs, they're going to be an allied race for the Hordes. With Eitrigg and the aid of the Bronze Dragonflight, we're going to reopen a portal to alternate Draenor to recruit them, but this time, the portal is not going to take us back in time, like 35 years in the past. It seems like the portal is going to sync up our timelines. That means that quite a few years have passed, with the orcs and Draenei living together on Draenor, and even during the story of the Magad, I wondered, what kind of world would that be?
Try spending a few decades trapped on a planet with fanatical Draenei and see how you like it!
Turns out, not exactly great. The moment that the Horde arrives back on alternate Draenor, they're chained up and presented to Overlord Xe'ra as her prisoners. Where in our reality, Durotan and Draka had a son named Goel, also known as Vrol. The changes to this reality, it caused them to have a daughter named Xe'ra. We try to explain who we are, to which Xe'ra has us go through a little test to see if we truly know the history of the clans that are now united as Mag'har. It also turns out that Gromar's Hellscream is still alive and kicking. He remembers those that came from Azeroth, and Eitrigg tells him that heroes from his world, they once saved the alternates from the grip of tyrants. Now Azeroth faces a similar threat, so we have come to ask repayment of that debt. Considering that he's recruiting the Mag'har to join the Horde, this means that Eitrigg sees the threat of the Alliance similar to tyrants. Now even though they owe a debt to us, the Mag'har still face threats of their own. They can't just pledge their soldiers to go off to some far-off world. So first, we must help them with their problems. So we ride out to take care of an ogre instigator. That's not the only thing that they're dealing with though, as Xe'ra lets us know that her mother Draka, she still has a garrison in the Grand, so she's still alive. But her father Durotan, he fell in battle to something that they called the Lightbound. After Archimonde's fall, the orcs and Draenei worked together to drive the leftover legion from Draenor. Those were the good years, but without demons to fight, the Draenei became fixated upon their precious light. Their Naru masters compelled them to spread their influence amongst the orcs. A few of them converted willingly, others had the light forced upon them. Some orcs even sided with the Draenei against their kin. Even the Warchief's own son was lost. They call these traitors Lightbound, and with Warchief's son, I imagine Warchief Gromar's Hellscream, that he had a child anyways, a child who sided with the Draenei. This is of course a very similar motive as we seen with Xe'ra during Legion. As a being of the light, she could only see one side of the coin, could only see one side of a possible future, one in which she saw Illidan become the child of shadow and light. But when Illidan was uncertain, when Illidan did not want the light to take away all that he was, she tried to enforce it upon him, leading to one of the most edgiest moments within Warcraft history.
The light will heal your scars.
I am my scars!
The light is your destiny.
My destiny is my own!
He destroyed Xe'ra, and it seems like the Naru are now compelling the Draenei of alternate Draenor to do a similar thing. Eitrigg and the Horde join the Mag'har in battle against the Draenei and these Lightbound orcs. We earn ourselves a little victory, we report back to the Warchief, with Xe'ra now having quite warmed up to Eitrigg and the Horde, and they decide to honor their debt and join them on Azeroth. As plans are being made to return home, an army approaches. All of them are coming for the Magar. Gromash quickly tells them to gather every orc that they see and bring them here. The battle is surely gonna be great, but the Light's numbers are simply too many. They cannot hold this line forever. As the leader of the Draenei, the High Exarch reveals herself. This is none other than Yrel, who leads these forces and confronts Gromash.
Very well, Gromash. Then we will come for you.
She offers him one last chance to embrace the light. The orcs are choking the life from this world, dooming the land to desiccation. But Gromash, he calls her blind. It's actually the light that has doomed their world. It pains her to lose an old friend, but they'll settle it his way. As Gromash tells everyone to get out of there, I imagine that we quickly make her escape as he enters in Makura, and then who actually knows? The recruitment scenario is sadly not available in-game for testing quite yet, so it's a little bit up in the air on how all of it's going to go down and what exactly is going on. It seems like Draenor is still going through the corruption, as we saw with our Draenor. It's not doing too well, with both sides blaming each other. Personally, I wouldn't be surprised if the land was doomed because of Gul'dan's actions, and they simply started to point fingers at each other. But what's interesting is that one of the random battle cries that the Lightbound shout out, they say, "Heed the High Exarch's visions." Yrel was never portrayed as someone who had the power to see the future, unless they actually decide to give that symbol transfer a lore reason, but then you have to wonder why she didn't show any prophetic powers in the expansion Wars of Draenor. It's more likely that these visions, if she actually even has visions, are bestowed upon her by the Naru. Again, there was a very big plot point developed in Legion. Neither the light nor the shadow can see the full truth, and not all the visions of the future can be trusted. That is, if she even has prophetic visions, and not just a vision that she came up with herself. That's also a realistic possibility. Let's not forget that when we met Yrel in Draenor, she was insecure about leading a group of Rangari, and then slowly but surely she's pushed into the role of Exarch, and now even High Exarch. Perhaps Maraad's words of "in the light we are one," it had her motivate to bring everyone together under the light, despite if they wanted to or not. Who knows, but when this information came out, I saw a whole lot of discussion about this, and some people, they really like it, some really hate it. It's all personal taste. I personally find it really interesting that they're taking a concept touched upon within Legion and now expanded further in this alternate reality. Is the example that we saw with Xe'ra not just a contained incident, but something spread amongst all the Naru? Or is this just what happens with the Draenei when they find themselves in times of peace? Or is this more an individual responsibility? Is it truly Yrel to blame for the path that the Draenei took? Why did the son of Gromash turn away from his roots and decide to ally with the Draenei? Is the whole force in the light a similar thing that happened to Lofrexian when he became a Light Dreadlord? Hate it or love it, at least it's an interesting development, and it definitely gets people talking, and for that I can appreciate it.
You want to know what my dark secret is? I see dead people. Kidding about that being my secret, that is. We Draenei see dead people all the time.
Can't wait to see it all play out in game. Perhaps to actually use the storyline and build upon it further within Battle for Azeroth. Perhaps we'll get a story arc with the Light, a story arc with the Void, and then at the end we're going to learn like, oh yeah, we're going to need both sides in order to find balance. Something like that. Can't wait to find out. For now though, we've reached the end of Yrel's story, and let me tell you, it's been well difficult not to call her Yrel all the time, because that's what I've been calling her, but apparently she's called Yrel. What can you do? Anyways, thank you very much for watching, everyone. It is super hot today, so I'm going to call it quits. If you want, subscribe if you like my videos. You could also leave a like if you enjoyed this one. And until next time, guys. See ya!